Dispatch posts videos of Jimin and JK. We also have some shocking posts from an idol that talks about JK's relationship with him. This causes a lot of backlash, and then we have the label talking about both Jimin and JK recently. So Dumplings is Dave Desai. Let's get into it. HYBE recently shared something with 10Asia, which is a pretty big news site. They mentioned something that was a little bit shocking to people, which is that each member will be doing something a little bit differently as they leave the military. They said RM and V will greet fans in Junchin, while Jimin and JK will do so in Yeonchin. Rather than at their respective bases, they will deliver brief messages and share their thoughts on being discharged at separate designated locations. Now, they've also talked about no official events being at the military bases, so they ask people to not go to the military bases and to not crowd that area, as it's really small and could potentially have a hazard to the fans as well as to the BTS members themselves. I think people were both relieved and shocked to see this message, as it seemed the label was finally addressing the boys coming back from the military. And now that we see it being written in words, we know that it's officially here. And of course, while the general message or consensus is that no one should appear at the military camp, I do believe some people are going to show up. Some may argue that the statement itself may have brought more people to the camp, as it gives the exact date in which they will be leaving, but that knowledge has already gone viral on social media, so most people who would go know anyway. This statement would get people to not show up, and it lets people know that this is not an official activity. If you do show up, you'll probably be shamed by the community for doing so. I don't know what the boys have planned right after the military, and unfortunately this statement that the label put out did not clarify that, but clarified that they would be coming out. I'm a little bit surprised that they hadn't addressed specifically what the boys were going to do, as this would be a great time to talk about any activities and sort of tease it, as then those things can hit the ground running. In my personal opinion, as someone who has seen this happen several times within my life and celebrities attempting to make a comeback after a really long hiatus, what I think is going to happen next is that they may try to very subtly put all of the members in specific appearances. So they're going to start to go to events with a lot of press there. They're going to potentially make TV appearances. Maybe one or two of them will start making appearances on TV, like acting or commercials, or if it's in BTS's case, they might bring back Run BTS and have that go on for a few episodes before announcing any music that might be coming out. I'd be very shocked if they jumped right into just releasing music without teasing the boys being back first. So I think we're going to start to see the boys everywhere on our feed, and then once they sort of hit the peak of that and everyone's talking about them again, they're going to start to tease new music. And before anyone argues and says BTS is relevant and has always remained relevant, and if they decide to come back with music, they will hit the ground running already, I want to say that obviously someone disappearing out of the spotlight is going to decrease conversation. And if you look at the Google Trends right now and see how many people are searching BTS up and how many people are generally talking about BTS, you'll see that it obviously has declined since they've been in the military. So yes, just like any other person would, they need to ramp up that attention and that conversation and then be able to drop their music. It was interesting because Dispatch actually ended up posting a kind of little honor video of both JK and Jimin. They made two separate posts, so one post was of Jimin and JK and one post was of RM and V. This was definitely interesting because yes, the particular subunits are meeting together, and so it makes sense to be put together, but there's no actual reason to put them together. They could have done these posts separately. However, they did put them together, and that was interesting, and some people are taking this as Dispatch was mentioning or hinting that Jimin and JK are together, because Dispatch is typically a dating news site. However, Dispatch is not actually a dating news site. That's just their most viral stories that come up every year, but they have stories ranging from literally anything about a celebrity. So it's just a news site in general. With that said, yeah, they're going to bunch up the two members that are going to be coming out together, even though their post doesn't actually mention where or when they're coming out. They're just going to bunch the people that are coming out together and at the same time. However, these rumors went even more wild because when you click on the video that Dispatch posted, both the videos say Jimin and JK on it, even though each video only shows one of the members. So they did a compilation of both of them walking through the airport or just moments of them doing press, and they put it together to honor JK and Jimin coming out of the military. Now, the video that was honoring JK also had Jimin's name in the title, which people did not like. Some people were then asking Dispatch to remove that or make note of trying to remove that. I normally think that this is a crazy request, but knowing how the community is and knowing they're going to use this to attack the other member or use this to incite more of the dating rumors and the violence of that is on ongoing, then I actually have no complaint about this being a complaint. I really find it strange that they did do that and that they didn't just say one name on a video that was just about one person. However, they're probably trying to say that both of them are coming out together, and they are probably trying to use keywords in the title so that it can be more visible to everybody. So obviously if you're looking up Jimin coming out of the airport, you might see this video, and then it's going to be around the same time that Jimin will come out of the military, even if you're watching a video with JK in the title. So it does relate. So I don't necessarily think that there is a huge issue with that, obviously. However, I'm excited to see them come out of the military regardless of what the press will say and what their titles are. I don't think that that's a huge deal, and I don't think that it's going to stop the general public from being happy about this comeback. JK is going to be releasing a video for his comeback, so that is definitely something that we can be really excited about. This video might be alongside Mingyu, as he has made a video talking about how he wants JK to participate in his song trend, and he's excited to celebrate when JK comes back from the military. This has gotten a lot of mixed reactions, as a lot of people aren't exactly sure what his intentions are. People have said that Mingyu has never talked about JK's music and his work prior, but now suddenly that he's coming out of the military, he wants to jump on this opportunity to make a video with JK for clout. This is definitely an interesting argument to make, as some people definitely assume that he is not someone that is a genuine friend, but someone who is trying to use JK. Now, the two of them have been friends for quite some time, and the two of them have been friends since they had essentially started doing this, and the community is already really familiar with this idea that the two are friends. Them collaborating together isn't exactly going to make Mingyu that much more popular, as most people in the community already know him. He's already in a lot of the paparazzi videos, and he's already been seen with JK, as well as most people in the community. If they've been curious, they probably would have looked him up, and if they liked his dancing and singing, they probably would have followed him. So this is kind of where I fall in this, where I believe that everyone who knows him and would have liked him is already following him, and what he gains from this is nothing except him honoring JK in a really beautiful way. A lot of people do believe that a lot of the friendships that the BTS members have are very opportunistic friends. This is an assumption that I think comes with the territory of someone being more famous and someone being less famous. This is the assumption that you can't really get away from, and if you were to go deeper into this assumptions, you'll start to see people say that the only reason why the less famous person has a career is because he or she hangs out with this more famous person. And quite frankly, I don't think most people understand how fame works. Fame does not work simply by just being famous. In fact, shockingly enough, what keeps you famous is not being seen everywhere, but what can cause you to be seen everywhere, which is money. So you need to be making money, not just being famous for being famous and then there's no money behind it. So when you see people who they're considering opportunistic friends, but they're only seen in like paparazzi photos or things where the celebrities themselves can't actually make money from or get paid from, you can't actually assume that this is going to help their career in any way. Just because someone follows you because they've seen you with this celebrity doesn't mean that they're going to watch all of your videos, buy all of your music, and really support you. Most people who support and love you are people who have found you organically themselves. Of course, that's not always the case, but I would say the majority of the people who support or love an artist are people who have found that artist organically. So I don't really know how much of this is true in terms of people using JK or the BTS members for clout. So those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos linked down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.